All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for March Comes In Like a Lion, Season 1, Episode 2. Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we have met Rei Kiriyama.
We have.
And this
and the
boy
wholesome
has...
family.
Yes, the wholesome family. With Hinata and Momo and the older sister.
Yeah, I feel terrible forgetting her name.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But, oh my gosh, the weight of the world is on this kid's shoulders. And we know who his father is. Some kind of shogi coach, mentor figure in the shogi arena.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, something happened on that day in the first episode.
Indeed.
And yeah. All right, guys. Well, looking forward to learning more about Rei and this world and the characters surrounding him. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh. Yeah.
確かに貴様より予断入りは2年ばかり遅れたが真の戦いが始まるの
Yeah, bro.
10年前の全日本子供将棋選手権今日まで日進月歩で努力を
Why are they giving all these sparkles to him? Yeah.
It's like, is this supposed to be JoJo's or something?
Right. But, yeah. Say, ah! What? What the heck? In the form of game notification. Yeah. Really? Oh. Ah! This is the standard for boys manga. What? That is true. He just got in. Your servant? Ah! Is this kid stupid rich or something? Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Wow. What is with these wholesome old guys? Ah! The comedy is so... what the... What is that darkness coming from the... Oh, it's the shadow, the clouds. Whoa, the detail!
But I love how they're making the scene darker and darker.
Yeah. We're gonna be foes. The servant actually, like, kept him on a leash so that he could, have some peace and quiet from this kid that gets whatever he wants, I guess, because he's either rich and,
very pushy
or just pushy.
Which came first, chicken or the egg? Who knows?
Right, yeah. Contrasting the start of the last episode with, a character that doesn't shut up, is kind of a cool, kind of a cool contrast there.
Yeah.
But, this opening basically reminds us that that's not the norm. That's not...
Right.
That's not a usual thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, those thorns growing out of the ground, consuming him and stuff, that... Yeah. Oh, and those are people, those are a family in the Firefly, the Firefly lights or whatever, that just, vanished. Oh, and a hand reaching out. That could be Mom. Getting some little internal thoughts to this stuff. This is what we had in the beginning of the show. Yeah. NHK Cup, nice.
決勝トーナメントに出場できれば 全国中継されるのだ。テレビにバッチリ映りますように。対戦相手の桐山を見事自分の将棋で下せますように。あいつのアメーバみたいなベタ読みを俺の燃える王様で焼き尽くせますように。
Spiritual defeat. Ah, yes. Isa Matsumoto. Cool. The way they play is reflective of their personalities, you know? What?
てよいっちゃんびっくりすっからさいやすまんスミスつい気持ちが高ぶってしまってな
What the?
お前さんはいつもストレートで
スミス先輩
Okay.
大きな生物同士2人
あ
が気が合うらしい
Alright.
どうよ桐山キュン
The energy on this guy is just too much.
取ると馬が
He's like, he's like, am I gonna win? It's like, it has to be a trap of some kind, right?
King Dragon sends his regards.
Indeed. Now, the cool thing is that this is probably a real game, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Although I have no idea how this game plays.
No, me neither. Hey, the knight moved like a knight, though. Oh my gosh. He has a rough play because he bumps the other pieces when he grabs one. You know, crude, essentially.
Very blunt with how he does things.
This game.
田舎のじいちゃんに見てほしかった今体悪くして入院
Oh my gosh.
NHK は日本
Jeez.
どこでも映るもん
Way to
な
make him feel
小
guilty.
さかった頃の一茶にくれたのが
Aw.
じいちゃんだったんだよ
Mm-mm.
桐山がおごってくれるってさあかりさんに会いたくねあかりさんあかりすまわ
5 centimeters per second? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow.
子供の金持ってたってしょうがないでしょ
まだ未成年なんす
手がダメでもジュースがあるさいっちゃんが元気ないと将棋会館が暗くなっちゃうんだよ
Wow.
いらっしゃいませスミスさん
Gotcha.
山君は
あかりさんお久しぶりです
This is a very nice,
なんだか
very nice
家に
place.
いる時と全然違う人みたいだ
Wait. Then she's at
もしかして
home.
本当に違う人だったりして
Wait, you don't recognize her? The older sister. Oh, wow. Yeah, I did not recognize her at all.
足包むの手伝ってくれてありがとね
Aw.
いやすみませんやっぱり同じ人でしたあの人ってすごいな
Aw.
よーし元気出てきた覚悟しとけよお財布の方の
こんなに楽しい先輩たちと一緒で明るくていいお酒だわ
もちろんです僕はそんなことしません
Oh my gosh.
無理にたかろうとしてるんです
Yeah, yeah.
怖い先輩もいるもので無理やり飲ませてそのまま店の前に置き去りにする
That was actual experience talking right there.
一緒の人たちははいお水飲んでまあ近所だわ私3月町なのよ
Sangatsu.
Yep.
ちょっと何あなたガリガリじゃない
翌朝目を覚ますと僕はあの居間にいた
お姉ちゃん起きたよ起きたねお味噌汁飲むかい
Ah, these cats. These cats. I love these
懐か
cats.
しいあの古い家にこれが僕とあかり
Speaking
さん
cats.
そしてひなちゃんとももちゃん
So he's thinking back on that time?
付き合うならこういう先輩が一番よ
はいもちろんです桐山君なんだって僕に頼りたまえ
天津さえたかったりなんて
しませんしません
Oh.
じゃんじゃん飲みたまえ桐山君
Wow. Brilliant.
手あり乾杯
Yeah.
とも乾杯
She is so smooth. That was amazing.
いつものあかりさんとは違う
Yes. Yeah, that's why I didn't even recognize her.
どっちもとても綺麗だと僕は思う
Aw.
何にもない牛乳も水もあとトイレットペーパーも
Bro.
しょうがない車も見てるか
Waits until the very last, like, straw, you know?
倉庫と会社と工場ばっかりでこの橋を
Crossing the
渡
bridge.
って反対側のスーパーに行かない
Cool.
と手に入らない橋を渡った向こう側は3月町
Wow. Just the environments are so, so gorgeous.
Yep.
でも知ってる人ができた途端橋の向こうに色がついたような気がした
Yeah.
いつでもおいでって言ってくれたけど本当かなその言葉だけで嬉しくてお腹がいっぱい
Yeah.
で
Oh, that's so
十分
good.
な気がした
All stuff for the festival.
かお盆か
So losing track of time by spending so much time alone. He doesn't know, like, oh, and guess who? Guess who? The blob has attached itself to your leg. Haha.
菓子パンね。食べにおいでって言っても来ないしな。山くんは私とひなが作った料理よりカップ麺の方が美味しい。
Can he hear this?
なんかショックだねお姉ちゃん。
Brilliant.
とか頑張ったんだけどな。
Ladies, you're amazing.
はいこれ待って。今夜はこれ。唐揚げは好き？
Cool.
好きです。
一緒に食べましょう。
僕はあかりさんになんとなく逆らえない。
This is when they first met.
指噛まないでね。
Yeah.
はい。
Nice. Covering the sound with the water.
最初に一番みっともないところ。
Whoa. She's like the mom that he doesn't have right now. But she seems like she's his age, though. That's the part that...
I can never tell the
You can never tell how
anime
old
character.
she is, yeah. Like 2 years older?
Yeah, she's
Or like right around the
fairly
same
close
age.
to his age.
Yeah, very close, yeah.
この匂いだったんだ。街中に溢れていたのは。
これに乗って帰ってきたんだ。パパも母さんもな。じいちゃんもばあちゃんも母さんもずっと。
Is this a festival about lost family or like ancestors or...
I believe so.
Oh. I love those cats. Oh.
長野です。
そうか、遠いな。
ご飯できましたよ。
うまく上がってるな。
今日はひなが開けたのよ。
Oh, way to go, Hinata!
傷は生のまま
Ah,
乾かずにこの
wow.
家に立っている。
Yeah. Nicely timed with the little oil burn. That was brilliant. And speaking of
僕の時は
you,
どうだったっけ？泣き止んだのはいつだっけ？
oh,
ずっとぼんやりしている。
yeah.
あの日からぼんやりしたまま。帰り際、あかりさんがご飯と唐揚げを詰めて持たせてくれた。
Oh.
帰ったらすぐ冷蔵庫に入れてね。
Wow.
ちょうど送り本なの。ごちそう作るし、誰かいてくれた方が。
Oh.
気が紛れるからと、あかりさんが言ったような気がしたけど、聞き取れなかった。
Wow. Oof. Yeah.
風の強い橋の上、お腹に抱えた弁当がまるで小さな生き物のように。
Whoa. Wait,
Yeah. This is the ending.
we have seen the ending before, right?
Yep, last episode.
It seems so upbeat, though. I don't have a perfect memory of it, I think.
Yeah, we saw this last episode, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I was like, this sounds really good. Do you like listen to this on your free time kind of thing? Yeah. This, yeah, I recognize it now. Yeah.
I
Wow.
finally figured out why it's called March Comes In Like a Lion. Because of the district that they're in.
Oh. Yeah.
It's because they live in the March district.
Yeah.
And March comes into his life like a lion.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had the Sangatsu bit on the, what was it, the convenience store?
Right. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
the last episode, yeah. Yeah.
But
Oh, so we have a fun little twist in the beginning that's not a bully. It's
Right.
a character who has deemed that you, Rei Kiriyama, are my rival. And once we have come together over our, competition, differences, we'll be
Yes, fighting
BFFs.
spirit.
BFFs forever.
Yes, yes.
And I love that because there's a wholesomeness to it. Of course
Yes.
he wants to defeat him and...
I will admit though, I do find him a bit annoying.
Oh yeah.
Like especially
I think he's made to be that way.
Right, especially compared to just the sugar spice and everything nice. That is just all the wholesomeness
of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he's coming in alone.
Right.
He is very much like, in some ways, the two other players who kind of, mostly Issa.
Yeah.
The one that kind of bullies him into essentially kind of doing this way because he's
But
very
Akari
easy to
was
push
right there, and
Hikari is just like, whoa, I'm so smooth. Watch me use my abilities.
And she was so roundabout with it too. Like she didn't like say it at the very beginning. She was just like doing all the stuff, buttering up and everything, and he's just like, oh yeah, of course, no, yeah, yeah, I'm cool.
It's my treat, yeah.
Right, and then it's like, oh, but you wouldn't sponge off of him. Oh,
I would never do that.
Never do that.
No.
I'm buying, in fact.
Yeah. So we have a connective tissue now between Hikari and Akari. Thank you. Was I saying Hikari? Wow. Because Hinata.
Yeah, Hinata. Akari, Hinata, Momo. Yeah.
Right. So
we know how.
And they call her sometimes Hina for short. Yeah.
Right.
Which I think is cute. It's adorable.
Because otherwise, like, how would Rei have ever met them? Right. It just wouldn't make sense.
So they went to some kind of shop thing, or because that was the time thing. They jumped back in time.
Right. There were time skips. So
help me out here.
It was a lot clearer for me because it's the second time watching it. But basically, he had previously been pressured to going to the place where she worked at,
which is very expensive,
and drinking
and living it up, basically.
Exactly, and then they just abandoned him. Right.
Yeah, and he had drank a bit.
Right. Yeah.
So he was a little. He drank a bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that was why he needed to go over to her place and vomit it out. And have a good sleep there, basically.
Right. So, and then that was how he got sort of adopted into their family.
But she didn't know who he was at the time?
Nope. He was just a person.
What? But the way that made it confusing was that she called him by his name at the place. So was that because they said Rei's name?
The time when he went there with the other two people, he had already been there before, right?
Oh,
because
so when he went, he still did go with them. The first time.
The first time it was with other people.
Oh, just some other people.
Right, and that's why she was talking about how, these are the better, even with all the other stuff, the fact they're not forcing you to drink and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
These are more of the people that you want to go out with.
Good.
Yeah.
So that part was a little bit roundabout for me. So he went with people that forced him to get drunk, and they all got,
pressured him. Yeah.
She noticed that. So I think she was at least aware that he was going to have to deal with that. But then she's like, oh my gosh, and now he's right out here on the street. I'm going to go and take care of him. Now, what we see from her side of things is that she's the type of person that is very much dealing with her own trauma crap, basically.
Right.
A lot of stuff. And she mentions one of them very overtly. The idea of, some upperclassmen just force you to drink until you black out.
That was her talking about what happened with him.
Oh, that was her talking about that. I was
not talking about her experience. I was talking about, her experience that she saw from him.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I was worried that she's had to deal with people basically abusing the fact that, she's walking home alone or something like that. Or it's like, oh yeah, don't worry, we'll drink and have a good time, and I'll give you a ride home or something like that.
She's probably dealt with that a bunch, so that she absolutely knows how to handle those kinds of people.
Yes. Yeah. I was worried that was what it was, but if it's this is what happened with Rei. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay.
But the thing is that they lost their mom and grandma.
Yes. Yeah. So. And where's Dad? Who knows?
Well, yeah.
In this case, with Rei, we have Dad. Where's Mom? Who knows? It's kind of a little bit more apparent now because that looked like a car accident. Flashback. I very much caught on to the fact that was a car. It looked smashed.
Yeah.
And it was a quick flash, and then having him, illuminated by a little like street light kind of thing, and being alone. So it might have been a thing.
And there were 3 people in that flashback.
Yeah. The freaky thing though is that I don't think though that there's anything weird going on with the dad. If it's a car accident, it has to be something maybe with regards to how their relationship was, throughout the whole past thing, whatever it was. So, because I was worried that, there was something, not so good going on there. But it seems like this is more of the, the harsh aspect of life basically coming, just slapping him upside the head. And this is the thing, though. This is just one thing. There could be more. This doesn't have to be the only big thing.
Right.
Okay, so we got through annoying, pushy rich kid potentially with the servant who is. I love the idea of a wholesome old guy servant who's like, "Oh yes, master, so and so. Please make sure that you stay in good health." And it's like we have tsundere grandpa who just loves his grandkids, and then we have actual just wholesome grandpa guy,
right? Like butler, been with the family for 45 years or whatever it was. It's like. That's
kind of the clue that they're rich, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the U.S., I'm sure there are lots of people with butlers and stuff, but they're like only very rich people.
And the fact that it's the butler has been with this family for 45 years. It's like.
But I could see in other countries
it's something that's done more often.
It's something that's more common, and it's just a different type of economy, so that. People that aren't necessarily in the upper class would have.
I think it's the fact that they were able to send him on an 80-day cruise around the world.
Yes, that's another aspect of that as well. They're loaded.
Yeah.
Also, that's another thing that was interesting to bring up. There was a very real economic undertone to this story. You had the whole idea of, these nice upperclassmen who don't force you to drink. Meaning that these people are, they are probably pretty well off. In some respects, just from the way they dress and the way that, they act and stuff.
Which people?
The two shogi
shogi
buddies.
Gotcha.
Issa and, what was the other one?
Smith.
Smith, thank you. I was about to say Smile, but, no. So
show.
Smith and Issa, I get the vibe that the family of wholesome niceness and everything, they're not on the higher or even middle end of the economic spectrum.
Right, like the whole thing.
Way their house is situated.
Well, the way the house is situated, the way it's like the family business with all the kids helping out and stuff. The
going and getting noodle packs, probably for the business, that they can only get 3 of per customer.
Oh,
I realize?
I don't think that was for the business. I think that was just for like meals and stuff.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
But then the other thing of them like making sure that they showed that the meat they were getting was discounted meat.
Oh, yep.
Like that's like a small detail that you don't have to do, but coming from a family where we've had to like make sure we were counting
a very big family, so
yeah, we did not have a lot of money like growing up.
Grocery sales were where it was at. But
and that whole dynamic though brings a lot more to the come over anytime. We're going to make lots of food.
Right, it's the
our house is an open door.
What's the saying? Was it
hospitality saying?
No. Well, yeah, but I can't remember if it was from like Christmas Carol or if it was like, no, it's from Prince of Egypt.
Really?
When it's the something basically talking about how when all you've got is nothing, there's a lot to go around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's basically
so
what I feel like sums up this family perfectly. Because
that just breaks my heart because they've lost people too.
Yep, and that's
and they're able to smile so much, and yet you can see the pain on Akari as well, because while I misinterpreted the first little undertone whisper thing that she was saying more so for Ray, there was the other bit of, that'll be a nice distraction. And I love that we didn't hear it. I love that it seems like he imagined
didn't even
it.
hear it. He was just like, he's just sort of assuming because like he's perceptive, and all that. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't speak much, so you get kind of an added +5 bonus to perception.
Exactly,
because tend to not talk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're forced to basically be listening. You might be thinking about something else and not actually be listening, but you're certainly not talking. So
it helps.
And then with the whole finances thing in the first episode, they talked about how it's like, oh, you brought over a lot. Oh, well, we'll pay you back. Kind of that kind of thing.
Or
it's like,
I didn't even clue into that because I thought that was more of a thing of how
no, it's my treat.
I thought that was more of a thing of how like he doesn't have a lot,
right?
So they're wanting to make sure he doesn't.
But it's actually like potentially the other way around.
He makes a lot of money because of him being a pro shogi player.
Yeah. Like,
and the teacher was like,
wait a minute,
you probably
make more every
me.
month than me, and then suddenly gets grumpy and leaves.
This is actually something that I feel kind of, I feel like it's kind of, the thing of someone basically having not many people around them, but having a lot of people that would like to, be in connection with them.
Yeah.
And it is all purely out of, at least with the family, out of just the desire to be good people. Like, we don't know anything that could be even remotely considered negative motivation coming from them.
Right.
We have the shogi players who seem to have kind of the, I want to be buddies with you, maybe because you're a good player, or because hey, I need a friend too, and you're easy pickings when it comes to the friend department because you have no self-confidence.
Well, and probably because you have no friends. Like it's one of those things where it's like from the people that interact with him. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to look at the kid and say something's up with this kid. He's dealing with a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, or he's dealt with a lot of stuff, and it's kind of left him broken.
Yeah, right. 17 and be living on your own. Like, and the idea that it's not necessarily because, it's like, oh, you're going to school far away. It's like, oh, car crash, yay.
Yeah, but his dad's alive.
Yeah.
So, what the hell? Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, I didn't sense any.
Keep watching.
Yeah, I guess, but I didn't sense any animosity from the dad the first time I met him. It was just more of an awkward silence, you know?
Right.
And that's something that I think is almost common when you're with, a family member that you haven't seen maybe in a while.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, what do we talk about? The weather. And he's like, oh, oops, I'm an idiot. I'm talking about the weather on this day. There's probably some subtle things that I'm missing. But
you could piece together the entire thing from what's been shown so far, but I don't want to do that because the show will do everything in its own time. Yeah.
I think the main thing is I understand that the mother is gone because probably of the car crash, but we don't see necessarily how the father fits into it, at least on the surface. I don't see that.
Right. It's like, was it like drunk driving or or whatever, or
that's a possibility. Yeah. Okay. The whole thing of Akari taking him in. I think I misunderstood the ages in the first episode.
It's very easy to do
because
that.
I assumed actually that
Hinata was closer to his age,
but now I'm like, wait a minute, no.
Yeah, it's like Hinata's probably like 13 or something like that,
Yeah, very much, a kid still,
right?
For the most part.
I mean,
but then I thought that Akari was way older,
like 30 or something.
I thought she was like
that.
27.
Yeah.
And it was that Hinata was like 15 or 16.
And I could see. I mean,
does it really matter?
I don't know.
It probably does, though.
It probably does, but I don't see, I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say that she's, in her early 20s.
Okay, well, I think that...
But she could also be, 18, 19, because the fact that her mom and grandma are dead, right? Yeah. And the dad, where's the dad, right? So she has had to step into the mother role.
And I don't think she can
turn... sisters.
Yeah, I don't think she can turn that off, but I feel like she needs a reciprocated connection on some level.
She needs to be able to turn it off.
She needs to be able to turn it off and be supported and not just be supportive. And that's something that I have seen so many times where you'll see a young person get thrown into the role of a parent way too early.
Yeah.
And they have really nothing to do other than just kind of soldier up and cry themselves to sleep. It's one of the most horrifyingly painful things to not be able to help but just know is happening.
Right.
Because you don't have the relationship with the person. You don't have the ability to just kind of be there. because you don't understand their situation. You don't understand what they're going through.
Yep.
You can only just be a good person for when you do see them, and
it's one of those things where I wonder, like, how much of Akari being so friendly and open, come on over anytime, how much of it is, because she sees that this kid clearly needs some people in his life, right?
Absolutely.
And then how much of it is also just, we also need people in our life.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think it's also a similarity in what kind of trauma they've experienced. They both lost a mother.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can be.
And Ray probably lost a sister too, because there was a.
I'm pretty
sure there was a little girl in that picture.
I still don't know about that third person. Like,
there were definitely 3 people in the.
I know
in the picture.
I know. Mm-hmm. I just. Yeah, that part was something that I kind of was like, wait.
And I mean, does it really matter at that point? Like,
well, because the character could be with the father for all I know.
Oh, sure.
And it could be that, like, he wants the son to come live with him, and he's like, no, I'm not going to live with you.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's like, I don't see the whole angle of, shogi is stupid. You should focus on something more. No, the father plays shogi. Like,
right, exactly.
The father
That's
knows
not
what he's doing.
is.
That has nothing to do with it. So,
nope, not at all.
So I think it's more or less something of the father potentially being like, no, I'm not living with you. Maybe also because the father went and just remarried. Remarried quickly. Or he divorced her before this whole thing happened. So, her getting into a car crash was kind of a double compounding thing on the family already being split up, and now, holy crap, he's left alone in this world.
Well, and the remarrying thing would explain one thing, which is that...
why hasn't he come...
No, not that. But when the first thing that Ray says in the series is that was a lie.
Oh.
And it's after the match.
Oh, crap! I just realized, yeah. Sorry, are you guiding me towards the solution, kind of? Because that means that those two could be his step siblings.
That would be a way that would make that work.
Right. And then it would be, of course they don't, find, of course they are not, missing him or something. Because it has nothing to do with the fact that, the matches or anything. Or it does have something to do with that he's better. But it's that, no, you take time away from our dad and give it to you. And,
could be.
Who cares about you? That would be evil. Like, evil stepchildren, that's too real in just our day and age. Like,
oh yeah.
Almost like, it's almost like every other family has to deal with basically the whole, split up family dynamic. And then you have kids from other, other marriages or other relationships and stuff. And it's like, it's awkward. It's not that they're evil. This isn't Cinderella or something like that. I'm not saying that, but I'm meaning like the relationship that never perfectly jives,
Sure.
Or never really jives at all.
Right.
So
who is this stranger kind of a thing?
Yeah. Also, I guess that might not work actually because they were around the same age as him when they did the match thing in the flashback, like way earlier.
I was wondering if you were going to make that connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that doesn't really make sense for them to be step siblings then.
Right.
I mean they could be, but probably
right.
not. Yeah, I feel like this show is doing a very good job of layering in story elements slowly, but it's also painting a really broad picture really quickly. So in the set that I feel like within another episode, the whole picture will be done painting, and then we'll start building on top of it. Because right now, we spent a lot of time introducing side characters, and side characters that will probably be relatively relevant to Ray, but a lot of this stuff that's Ray's past and the reason why he is this way was only teased at towards the end.
Exactly.
And they got very overt with some of it, like the car crash.
It was good stuff.
But other bits, I Oh,
and
so
that's the main issue with the rich kid, you know, the self-proclaimed rival.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of times I'll feel like, oh man, the first episode was so good, and then it's like, oh, but okay, just go back to the warm, wholesome family.
I love encountering them in the shop, and I'm gonna call her Momo Moe, like Moe, like just all you need to do is add an EE onto this, mama, you know.
Right, but
And
she
the
just
blah blah
runs
just
up,
clings to the leg.
clumps his leg.
Did
yeah.
anyone else do that when they were a kid? You found like the adult that you loved or something like
Yeah.
that. You'd be like 4 or 5 years old, and you just cling to their foreleg. You're like, and then they'd try to walk, and you'd like just still hold on. you know? Oh, it's so cute. I actually have physical memories still of doing that to both mom and dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6.
Because we actually had parents, unlike Ray.
Jeez, bro. Like, ruthless. Like, that's maybe the one thing that breaks my heart with this, is that I don't feel like I can fully, like, no, that's not it. I can definitely empathize with Ray. But the thing that always breaks my heart in these stories is I wonder what it's like to watch this if you're someone that has lost a parent.
Right.
And I feel like I'm only like 70% or even 60, some percentage of understanding what that pain would be like, because I can imagine what it'd be like to lose a parent, but that's it. That's it. I can't actually know what that would be like. So, and I still feel like it's layered. It's not just the mom thing.
This show is very layered.
Yeah. I love that I caught on to the kind of the economic stuff going on there. But good for reminding me about some of those other things. What are some of the things in this episode that you think are like better than the first episode?
Well,
like kind of like in the way that they develop his internal thoughts.
That was good because I feel like it would have like I love whenever there is communication without actual words that are being used. So the first episode is an absolutely fantastic first episode. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's really good.
But it's probably a good idea that we have his internal thoughts. Now, I really like what they did with Akari of showing this different side of her, and then also showing how he met the family, because I feel like that's one of the really important things to sort of set up from the get-go is like, okay, you know, why do these people know each other, you know, and all that stuff, and showing the pain and hurt on both sides. Yeah. You know, because the idea with any kind of like relationship between characters or you know, just relationships between people, like it needs to have a give and take, right? And the idea that, you know, while he definitely needs them, like he definitely does, they kind of need him too. Yeah. And I'm really glad that they set that up so early on, because they, you know, you could do it later on and it would still work, right? It would still be good to have in there. Yeah. But the fact that they're getting it in so soon, I'm just really glad about that. And then, and then it's like, oh yeah, the whole thing of like the car crash, you know, they're not spelling it out. Oh no, so tragic, you know, like, oh, you should be sad, start crying right now. It's like, no, they sort of slip it in there. They do a lot of things in this show where they
very subtle,
where they and it's not always, you know, subtle. Like there's things like with Akari at the end where he's imagining, you know, her, like, you know, what did she have said, you know, it'll be a nice distraction, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of times where they more leave it up to the interpretation of the audience, or at least for the audience to fill in the blanks of, you know, the rest of it. Sure. And that helps the show atmospherically, because I mean, this show has atmosphere. But it also is just nice that for something that deals with stuff of a serious nature like this, and does it in a fairly realistic way, goofy antics with, you know, comedic moments aside, it feels really nice that they are not sort of talking down to the audience of like, let me lay it out for you, you know, in summary, you know. Right. Ray had a car crash in his family, and, you know, it's terrible, and now because of that he is very sad, and he, you know, has trouble connecting with people, and blah blah blah. It's like, we don't need that.
Yeah, the only time they go literal like that is when he talks about what a shogi, what kind of shogi player he is, basically.
Right, and even then they don't go very much into it. Like that's one of the
we
things.
we don't know what a fifth dan is.
Exactly, right. Like you can sort of be like, okay, that's some sort of ranking or whatever, but like when they talk about the moves, I don't know what that means. They're pretty self-explanatory with like what the name, it's like
knights, rooks.
Yeah, center knight, center rook attack. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's a center rook attack. Cool.
It attacks on a file or a column.
Exactly. But I don't know the rules of shogi. Like,
sure.
So yeah.
One of the things I noticed while you were talking there was the fact that they showed in the beginning of the episode, more toward the beginning, the backstory that he has with the family.
Yes.
But then they moved it linearly, they moved it in reverse linearly back further with his backstory with the whole car crash thing.
Right.
Which I think that's kind of a story trick where they're basically saying, get ready for backstory because we're prepping this one with the easy backstory of, with the family and Akari.
Right.
But then they're saying, and then we go back a little bit further, and then that delves into the things with his family.
Yeah.
And, that's going to be painful. Yeah. And we kind of know that happened earlier because he was able to be convinced to drink with these people, which means he was already in his kind of pushover state, probably.
Sure. Although, I mean, just for a normal kid, that's probably, like, that... Probably not that difficult, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the drinking age is in Japan. Is it probably 16 or something?
I think it's 18 or 19.
So is he even allowed to legally drink at 17?
No. Well, and that's why he was like, I can't drink if I go with you guys. And they're like, yeah, you can have juice,
But he drank before that.
Right.
At her place.
Mm-hmm. Right, so the restrictions and the penalties on
restaurants
and establishments on enforcing it, and that might be a little bit more lax there. Like in America, it's like one slip up and the place could get their liquor license just gone.
Yeah, it's we had the whole Prohibition era thing here. So, anyways, that notwithstanding, we have all this. All this stuff going on, but I feel like they're just building still. So
I gotta say though, I really do like the butler. Like the butler is my favorite part about the kid, and maybe that's not giving the kid enough credit.
I mean, don't spoil it for me in the future. Let me form my own opinion.
Absolutely not. Well, and I haven't seen a lot of this show, so
right.
But just like. It's one of those things where there will be that part of me that's wanting Ray to be with the wholesome family and everything, but just the idea of how, this butler, right, that gets sent on an 80-day vacation around the world and all that stuff, it's like, okay, all right, it's...
80 days is how many weeks, Jacob? So it's 11 weeks?
11 weeks,
and he can't be in the first corps then.
He comes in right at the end.
Right at the end, exactly. And he Speedwagon reminds
Yep.
Ray, be who you were meant to be.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, this is a good episode.
Yeah.
If you want to see the next episode's reaction, right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access where you can chat with us about stories or just whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.